Hey guys, look what I found! Target exclusive, look at that! Huh? 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 What do you mean you already got one? What, but... No... Hello everybody, it's Diecast. We've got some Matchbox cars for you today and a few Playart. Very excited about these Playart cars that I found. These are all part of that bigger lot that you've been seeing the Matchbox cars come and go. I just kind of randomly broke them up. I should have just called this one the container truck series. There's a lot of container trucks here. Some of these are Lesney. Most of these are Superfast and Era. So if you don't know about that, we'll learn a little bit about it. I'm going to zoom out here. We'll take a look at these guys. Let's start with these Playart cars. I really like these, and if anybody is ever looking to unload these little Playart cars, let me know. They're kind of my favorite of the off-brands, and I don't collect many of those, but these I really like to collect. This little tow truck Playart, same era as the Superfast cars. I'll show you the bottom, but it doesn't have much on it. Made in Hong Kong, Playart. You can see there. These are part of the Pocket. Was it Pocket Cars? I think it was Pocket Cars series. Out same time as the heyday of Hot Wheels and Matchbox. So they got passed over, and they're hard to find. I don't collect all of them. I really like these little kind of Matchbox looking ones. Take a look at this one. You can see they kind of have that same front end on them. This is the sanitation department. I can carefully lift this up. You can see they're carrying a lot of large metal things. I don't really know why that would lift up. There's nothing in there. They've got the kind of little strange wheels on them. Little 5-spoke kind of pizza slice wheels. But I really like the styling. They really remind me of the old Matchbox cars, and I thought I'd show them because I don't know if a lot of people really pay much attention to these. When you see them at shows, they aren't easy to find, like I mentioned. These came in a mainline series, and there were lots of them. They weren't all this kind of futuristic, blocky thing. Mainlines were similar to the Matchbox cars that were out at the time. This was just kind of the style of the trucks. And if you're trying to figure it out, they all have that same front end, but different back sides. This little dumper truck is really cool because it's got the hooks on both sides there, and that bar can't come out. So you don't lose them, like one we're going to see from Matchbox back there. But I really like those. Don't have many of them. So on to the Matchbox cars. We are going to start with a Tommaso Pantera. This one is one of the more common cars that you see. Lots of variations with those stickers, and we have talked about them before. Those are stickers on the older Superfast cars. Not on all of them, but the older Superfasts. And that was Matchbox's kind of attempt to compete with the Spectra Flame paint that was coming out with Hot Wheels at the time, which forced Matchbox to go to the Superfast series. This one is a favorite. Next, we've got a Chevy Pro Stalker. Now, this one came in many variations, and I don't know if this is one of the older ones or not. It does not have opening doors. It is Superfast on the bottom, but if you see Superfast on the bottom, that doesn't necessarily mean it was made in the Superfast era. A lot of these Superfast castings made it up into the Universal cars when Matchbox was sold to Universal. And they might still have that Superfast on the bottom. They might not. Kind of hard to tell with Matchbox, because Matchbox didn't really have like a yearly series, so they're a little trickier to keep track of, or at least I think they are. Some people think they're easier, but I think they're a little tougher. This one is one of the I would say, most popular Superfast models. That is the Fandango. It is a roll-o-matic, and if I roll the wheels, you'll see that little turbocharger thing on the back turn. I don't think it's going to show up here so much in the video. All these little roll-o-matics have a little tab. You can see it right there. And so if you see these roll-o-matics, first thing you want to do is flip them over and see if that little tab's there. Because without the tab, it ain't gonna work. And they were hit and miss anyways. Here we go. There we go. We've got another one of the Fandangos. Here we go. This is another variation. If you forgot what the other one looks like, you can see very little difference in these variations. It tended to be more of a production thing that they would just change them after a while. The changes were not noted on the boxes. So you might see a box with this one's sticker or logo on it, and you might end up with this one. Nowadays, people just wouldn't go for that, but back in the day, we like surprises. You'll also see this with different colored interior pieces, or that little fan, different color interiors, different color windows, different color paint, different wheels. I think they just made them because they'd run out of something. It was kind of before the day of variations, so I don't know that they were doing it purposely other than just to save money and keep things moving. Here's a Porsche. This is a Porsche. Does it have the number on it? Porsche Turbo on it. Also on the bottom, this one's a good example. It says Porsche Turbo. You'll see right up there it says, well, it's upside down. You'll see right up there it says number 3. That means it goes in the number 3 slot that was in the display. And when all the Porsche Turbo number 3s would run out, well, there would just be another number 3. It might be another Porsche Turbo, it might be a fire truck, it might be something totally unrelated. Nowadays, we're so used to the Hot Wheels numbering, where the number is that casting. Matchbox didn't really do that. It was all based around just making sure they had cars in the displays. And nowadays, when you get collector books to look up your variations on Matchbox, they usually number them by those numbers. And so you might have a Porsche, a fire truck, a dump truck, an airplane, all under that same number. A little bit different than Hot Wheel cars. So, container truck, Lawpalooza coming up. This one is a Lesney. I'll show you the difference. And this is the refrigerator truck. The refrigerator truck, you can see it's a big refrigerator truck, had the same front end as a lot of other trucks. The Lesney cars had these kind of big, thick wheels with these enormous axles. And that is one reason people liked them. These things would hold up. You could run a car over the top of these, like a real car, and you'd still have some of your Lesney car working. This is plastic on the back, so a lot of these plastic pieces would break. They do fall off fairly easily. But when Hot Wheels came out with their Redline series, these were the type of Matchbox cars that were on the shelves, and they just did not compete. They looked old, they were slow, they squeaked, they rattled, and people really liked those new Redline Hot Wheels. Of course, a lot of you collect those out there. So Matchbox switched, and this isn't a good example of the transition, but eventually they switched over to something that was much more like the Hot Wheels of the day, and these hit somewhere around the 2nd or 3rd year that the Redlines were out. The guys that were in between these two are called transitionals, and the transitionals you'll usually see will have the bigger wheels, the thinner axles. There's an interior piece here that allowed them some suspension, but they would still say Lesney. So that's the quick version. And remember, they didn't really come out in years with Matchboxes, so that story is kind of like blended over a 3-year period. They didn't have yearly models so much. By the way, they did have catalogs, so they did have a plan, but the catalogs mainly covered the lines and the larger size models. So here you go. This guy got cleaned up. He was a mess. It looked like he was all chipped up, but it was other cars' paint. And if you take a metal polish and just lightly rub it across the top, you can see he's got his finish all back. He's still got the chips. Can't take those out. But all that gunk is off of him. He is this a Rolls Royce? Yeah, Silver Cloud. This is another one that's fairly easy to find. Lots of variations on that guy. Next, we've got another. Oh, we should have covered this one when we covered the first one. It's another one of these Tommaso Panteras. This is the one we saw before. Here's the next one. Good example of this one. This one here has the tampos. Those are not stickers. So this guy came out after this guy. I already knew it. This white one's pretty iconic for super fast cars, but this guy came out quite a bit later. And it could have come out quite a bit later. I should have looked it up first, but you'll see the bottom will probably be exactly the same. I haven't looked. Made in England, made in Hong Kong. There you go. They're going to make them in a different spot because this guy came along quite a bit later. But you'll still see that Superfast logo on them. Chances are this one came out after they had really been pushing the Superfast cars. By the way, that Superfast logo or branding stuck around for a really long time. It's just they really weren't super fast cars after a while. They were making them different. Here's another refrigerator truck. This guy with some rough usage on the top. Another one that I wiped down. Don't really want to use for metal polish when it's bumpy, when it's got those little rust particles under it, because all it's going to do is rub off the paint. So this one I just wiped down with a rag. But this one does have the door in the back. Had a cool little opening door. A lot of these lose their doors. The door would fall off, but of course, who knows what anybody would haul in there. I used to haul bugs around in mine as a kid. It was like a little going off to the bug prison. So that is a Superfast. He ain't gonna go super fast. That is a sticker on there. Not often you find these guys with their sticker in place. Also, his little steering wheel breaks off quite often. This is the rod roller. Their Matchbox's sort of not very good take on a hot rod street roller, but I do like that one. Hard to find that one with its tampos, and it came, or with its stickers. It came with a lot of different stickers. This guy's a little what do they call these? Not a dump truck, a skip truck. But he has lost his skip. He would usually have a little dump truck type thing, and then you could lift it and load it on. These trucks are really common, whoops, with their lost skips. They were plastic, and they didn't attach very well, so they fall off, get lost. But that windshield's in good shape. These Matchbox cars are hard to find with good windshields. A lot of them had really large windshields. So here is another truck. This one is the tipper truck. I'll show you something fun about this guy after we take a look. This guy is, oh, he might be a good, yeah, here you go. Here's a good example of your little transitional. So this guy's number 26. He's made in England, so he's very old. Lesney, but see, no Superfast, and yet he has those Superfast wheels. So this guy's one of those in-between guys. So he is the oldest one we've probably, no, he's not the oldest one. We looked at some Lesneys there. But he has this cool little piece there. Also, I always think this is kind of weird about these guys. He has his little information there, tipper truck, and it's on the bottom, tipper truck. I don't know why. I don't know why they did that. Matchbox's quality control, I think, was a little all over the place. This guy's dirty. He needs to be cleaned, but he is also probably a transitional. Let's see. Yeah, he is. So he's one of the older ones, made in England by Lesney, no Superfast on the bottom. Look at the interesting way they put these together, though. This was their kind of in-between attempt at trying to get these cars to move faster. And most of you know the history of Hot Wheels. The red lines really came out with those super fast, or for at the time, super fast wheels. And Matchbox had these guys, not so super fast. And so during these transitionals, they really tried a lot of different things with the suspension, the axles. I don't know if you can see those, but those are really thin axles. Wheels, not so awesome. They got better at the wheels. These wheels get thin. But that was one of their attempts. Now, I don't know that we need super fast trash trucks, but They probably would have been better off just making race cars. They wanted to stick with those utility trucks. Here's another refrigerator truck. We got a bunch of these in this lot. So that's going to do it for this one, folks. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, that works pretty good. Bye-bye.